Mikel, you said to us before the game, it's all about winning, getting points on the board. But it wasn't just the performance today, it was the manner of that performance. How happy are you with that?
It was a great team performance right from the beginning. There was some great individual performance as well, which is very important. So, yeah, we started the game like we wanted. Very aggressive, very lively, great combinations, a lot of attacking actions, really intense in the high press as well. And, yeah, we got the crowd going. And when this stadium starts to create that kind of atmosphere, we make it really difficult for the opponent.
When you're fighting on all fronts, there can be difficult moments in a season. You've endured that, coming off Champions League games and then not winning your next game. Today you ended that run. Was that very much in your mind with your team selection today?
Yes, but especially the kind of game that we expected, and yeah, we had more players available as well. We've been missing some players. It's true that we lost a few players as well before the game, but I think it was a really good balance in terms of the qualities and the chemistries that we could find on the pitch, and then the boys delivered a great performance.
Everybody outside of here has been talking about nerves and people being anxious, but there was no sign of that today. Did you feel this was a different Emirates and a freer performance and one of more expression?
Yeah, I think we showed a lot of authority and determination and composure, and yeah, I think we brought a lot of energy to the stadium. They responded in a brilliant way, and yeah, that was a big win.
We're going to hear from Myles Lewis-Skelly shortly. You spoke about him glowingly before the game. How impressed were you with that performance, given that he hadn't started in that position this season?
I was impressed but not surprised, because I said it to you before, the way he's acting, the way he's trained every day, the way he's been in around the boys has been exceptional, and he has this quality, and I think the game suited him.
We'll get into your favourite subject now, mathematics. 6 points clear. The goal difference is +4. As I've said to you many times, you've been on the side when you've gone on and lifted the trophy. Do you really sense now that you're fully in the driving seat with the games left to play? You've got 3, they've got 5.
Game 2 done, another 3 to go. That's all I can say.
How positive, though, are you and the mood within the camp? I mean, you had the blow up at City, but you've responded. That response was, you will know, it was crucial, was it not?
Yeah. I mean, I think the team has been so consistent throughout the whole year. I think we won the most games in the history of this club in one season, and still the season hasn't been finished. So imagine what the boys are doing.
You've got a second leg of a Champions League semi-final. How well does this set you up? We know Atletico rested all 11 players today. You didn't have that luxury, but does this victory give you some real momentum going into that?
It's what it is. We have done a lot of rhythm, and we've been so used to playing every 3 days. We're going to play one of the biggest games in the history of this stadium. So what else do we want?
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he's up to 21 goals. That was his 50th Arsenal appearance today. There's been much discussion given his fee and the Arsenal centre-forward situation. How pleased are you with those numbers and another 2 goals for him today?
Yeah, I'm delighted for him, because we're always talking about we needed a goal that can get us 20-plus goals. I think he's got something like 12 in the Premier League. We've shared out, I think we've got 18 different goal scorers or something in the team, something like that. But, like, he's somebody that we did need to be in the box and score the goals like he scored today. We didn't score goals like that before Viktor Gyokeres came. You know, we've got a different profile of number 9 in Kai Havertz. He doesn't do the same thing as what Viktor does. And when you're playing against teams, especially like teams like Fulham, who, you know, they didn't turn up today, someone like Viktor, he will take advantage of them. I thought he took full advantage of both defenders. They couldn't handle him. Couldn't handle his running off the ball. They couldn't handle his strength when he's backing into him, and his movement in the box for the especially for the first goal was brilliant. But and then the second one was just a great finish. He was everything we needed from a centre forward today. He gave us today,
because he showed a lot of mental strength and character, hasn't he, over the season?
He's had to. A lot of question marks being asked. Big pressure as well, because a lot of people for the last couple of seasons have saying if Arsenal had a centre forward, that would get them over the line, and they brought him in. They opted for him. They said he was the one that they believe could get them over that line, and he's had a lot of critics this season in terms of his performances. But I think today, when you put in a level of performance like that, where not just his goals, but his work rate, his willingness to run in behind, his teammates giving him the service that he probably wants, I think you can take a lot of confidence from that as well, because 21 goals in all competitions. As a centre-forward, you always want to hit 20. That was always the magical number. And he's managed to do that in all competitions. And as I said, looking back on this season so far, you have to say he's had a good season.
Yeah, and all round today, like Darren says, his runs and obviously those finishes in the first half. His overall game impressed you today?
Yeah, because I remember I was watching obviously this is what we want him for in respect to being in the middle of the box. He's having to show a lot of aggression, a lot of strength, because he's in a very tight space and he's made that space for himself. This is what I loved. This is what we need. Look where we are in the pitch now. He's got us a foul right up there. People saying he doesn't hold it up. Exactly. This one's a brilliant run because he's got Bassi in front. He can see his number, so he's made the run and he's bent the run so he doesn't get offside. And then once he holds it again, look where we are. Final third, Saka makes a great move, plays it inside him, and this wasn't happening frequently enough, maybe for a lot of people and for the Arsenal fans. But again, you know what I mean, he's doing it, and he's particularly done it well in this game. This one, can't understand what Calvin Bassey's doing here, why he's not getting closer and getting tight to him, because he doesn't have to do much. But what he does have to do is head that back where it's coming from, and that's what he's done that brilliantly. And with this one, for me, Darren, I think he should take the shot now, either down his left side of the goalie, through his legs, tried to get on his right foot. I don't think there was enough time to do that, but it's brilliant to see him doing what he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. His performance today was outstanding. I mean, that last one there, as you said, he could have maybe even gone round him the last minute and rolled him in. But I think that's shown today that Arsenal don't have to necessarily keep playing up from the back to get themselves into the areas that they want to get to. You saw it from there, Viktor Gyokeres. Just go a little bit more direct. He'll get his body in, he'll work hard, he'll draw fouls. And I know a lot of people have spoke about Arsenal and set plays this season, but if you're going to get free kicks in and around the box because he's using his body, his physicality, that's another option for Arsenal as well. So I think when he looks back on this performance, I think he'll be pleased.
And just to put those numbers into perspective, Arsenal have been crying out for it. 20 goals from an Arsenal striker in all competitions. The last striker to do that 11 years ago, Alexis Sanchez. So that's how difficult in this Arsenal team it's proven to be, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been difficult. And, you know, people have been saying for many years, Arsenal need to get a striker, Then we get the striker and then people say, oh, he's not good enough. You know, the fact that people are still talking about him kind of says that, OK, why are you still talking about a striker if you've got one? So 21 goals in the Premier League, obviously 12 in the Premier League, says that he's done the job for us. He's done the job for us today, and I'm sure that against the teams that we've got coming, with West Ham, and I think it's again, he could put in the same kind of performance and probably nick another couple of goals, because if he only scores against those teams, that's what Arsenal have always needed. We haven't had problems scoring against the top six. We've always had no problem scoring against the top six. It's the other teams, the Fulhams and the Wolves and the teams like that, what we've had problems scoring against. And he's kind of solved that problem for us.
Yeah, he's been outstanding again. His performances, confidence as well. Confidence is always a big thing, and he would have heard the noise and the criticism around his overall game and the touches that he gets in a game. But again, today's performance showed a lot more character about him, using his body, physicality, but also his teammates thinking, do you know what? I'll give him the service. Again, you haven't got to bounce it off him at times. Just put it into an area. He's a willing runner. He'll work hard. He'll get himself in there. But his 2 goals today were outstanding. And I get it. He'll be walking off the pitch today thinking, oh, I should have had a hat-trick because of the last one. But still, Arsenal have got 3 points. They've scored 3 goals in a game, and he's been at the heart of it.
And does it take time, a season almost, for those teammates to find out about a different profile of player they're playing with and his requirements?
Well, you have to look at Arsenal and how long they haven't had an out-and-out number 9 like him, somebody who can run across the space and hold the ball up for people to come and join him. We haven't had that for many, many years. So you got Ødegaard, whether it's Ødegaard, Rice, whoever it is, they haven't been used to those kind of runs. And you've seen many occasions where he's made runs and people have not given him the ball because they're not used to passing that ball. But what's got to happen now is that they see he's got 21 goals. They saw a game like what he's done today. Obviously, he has to do that against even higher opposition, because if we can get the ball up there quicker, then we could cause problems. And what will happen is that the players will see it and they will start to feed him quicker. He's got to let them know that as well. I want it quicker. You know what I mean? The sooner you give it to me, the sooner you can support me, I can lay it off, do what I've done today with Saka. So they're still getting used to him. I think for his first season, 21 goals, and looking like, you know, we're getting closer in respects of winning it. He's a success. He'll be a success.
And do you almost, as a striker, sometimes have to earn the trust of your teammates to play that ball more regularly?
I think so. No, you've got to think as well, Arsenal haven't played with this profile of centre-forward for some time now. Yeah. Kai Havertz has been brilliant at what he does. Even Moreno, when he's played up top, everything's been into feet, nothing in behind. So all of a sudden now, when you put a Viktor Gyökeres, whose strength is running behind and not coming to feet, it does take a little bit of time to get used to it. But the longer he plays in the team, the longer he plays with certain teammates, it's about relationships, building relationships. And the longer he does that, the more they will start giving him that service, because anyone who watched the game today, and certainly Eze saw it quite early, the moment he makes that run, just put it in there.
Just give it him.
Just give it to him, because he's shown he can get his body in there. The second goal comes from that as well. And I think there's more to come from him. I really do, because he's got all the attributes. He obviously knows where the goal is. If you look at his career, and certainly the last couple of seasons at Sporting, you don't score over 50 goals if you're not at the level that people expect you to be. So, again, positives today. He's been confident. He's got his 2 goals. Can he build on that now going into the Champions League and then West Ham beyond that?
Talking of positives, the headline news with the team was Myles Lewis-Skelly in midfield for the first time from the start in his Arsenal career. He didn't disappoint, did he? In fact,
I didn't.
You could almost say he grasped the opportunity with both hands.
He very much did. And, you know, he's somebody that is very comfortable on the ball. He's always made it clear that he's a midfield player. He's unlucky with that one, you know, the ball just a little bit behind, but I think that the way that he picked up, he went into those spaces, like, for instance, the reading of that, and then, bam, the tackle is exactly what Mikel wants, is what he wants from Zubimendi. Again here, bam, before he turns. And that's the kind of thing that he's showing people that that's what I can do. I can read. This is what that's where he played. He's played left back because that's where they wanted him to play. But he'll also get on the ball and he'll try and get forward. He will go forward. He will pass the ball forward. He will run forward with the ball and do that. He's somebody that I'm so pleased. Obviously, people saying, yeah, it's against Fulham. Let's see what he can do. Yeah, we will see if he gets the opportunity. But this is the first time he's had an opportunity to play in the midfield for Arsenal in a crux game when you consider Arsenal's form up to this point.
Yeah, and he had a great deal of confidence given to him.
In the midfield in such a big game and taken out Zubimendi, European winner, you know, to put him in there. And he came in and played simple and played to his strengths, you know, and he looked very good in there today. You know, he looked comfortable.
I just wonder now, and I get it, Zubimendi will probably come back in because he's a more senior player. Yeah. But I think the manager will be looking at his performance today thinking, do you know what? If a game's going against Atletico and it's not quite working, he'd have no doubts whatsoever about, I know he's good enough to go and play in there, go and play, because I understand Zubimendi's been outstanding this season, maybe faulted a little bit of late, but for Myles Lewis-Skelly, that wasn't just a normal performance where you go, yeah, he did okay, he did all right, he's capable of playing in there. That was a top-level performance. So I genuinely think now Mikel Arteta might be looking at that again. If he doesn't play against Atletico, he could definitely play against West Ham.
Without a doubt. You know, I think you have to look back at the game he played at left back in the Bernabeu. You know, he's got the mentality to deal with it. Yeah, he's absolutely got the mentality and the temperament to deal with it. And I think he showed that today, because he could have easily maybe tried a little bit too hard because he feels he has to impress to try and stay in the team. You know, and he didn't do any of that. He kept it very simple, passed when it was on, went past people when he could, you know, passed through the lines, just kept it simple, passed it back if he had to. It was a real mature performance.
How important is that temperament as a young player to come into a cooker situation, pressure like today?
I think it's important, and I think it's also important that he got the right environment, the people around him. And I think putting him in there with the likes of Declan, Eberechi Eze, I think is key, because Declan will always talk to him.
And he's been in that situation, Declan.
Exactly, when he got, and he had Mark Noble doing that for him when he got in the West Ham team. So I think it was a perfect environment, the perfect opposition in terms of a team that wasn't really going to go and press, although I thought they'd be better.
Yeah.
But he was just outstanding today. All the little bits that he had to do, breaking up play, passing the ball forward, because for me, that was the key. I think too many times in recent weeks, we've seen Arsenal players almost pass the buck and go backwards, and then that allows the other team to get back into shape, and then it's hard to break down. Lewis-Skelly was on the half-turn. The moment he got it, bang, where's Saka? Where's Eze? Where's Trossard? And all of a sudden, you beat that press quite early, and then Arsenal can play in the areas that they want. So I mean, it was a 10 out of 10 performance.
It does help as well when they know that he's from our end. He's gonna be able to make a couple of mistakes. As long as he tries to rectify them quickly, they're going to be okay with him. And I think they had that over everybody else today. They were always going to, whatever he done, they were going to back him, the Arsenal fans.
OK, so let's remind ourselves what the situation is.
Many congratulations. The victory was important today, but was it the manner of the victory that made a huge statement this evening?
Yeah, I think both. I think we controlled the game very well, and then, yeah, of course we knew in this stage we have to win the games that are left, and yeah, we showed today that we got a good performance, and of course important 3 points.
This felt a very different performance in terms of flair and belief today. What was the difference? What was behind that newfound confidence?
Yeah, I think we always go into the game believing that it's gonna play in a good way and create a lot of chances, and yeah, today we did that, and yeah, we enjoyed it.
If I just take you back a couple of weeks ago, we saw those pictures of Declan Rice on the pitch at Man City, and he was saying to everybody, it's not over. How much did you all believe as a group that it wasn't over?
Yeah, we never stop believing, and we're not going to do it. So yeah, that's how it is, and we keep going. It's a lot to play for still, and yeah, we're just going to focus on the next one now.
How good a week has this been for Arsenal and for you personally?
Yeah, it's been good. Of course, we got some good results, and yeah, it's on a good path. But we have to stay there and keep going like this.
6 points clear tonight, +4 goal difference. A Champions League second leg semi-final on the horizon as well. Do you sense you're in the touching distance of something really special in the history of this football club?
Yeah, of course. There's not so many games left now, and yeah, we're in a good position. So yeah, of course we feel it.
Well, Viktor, many congratulations. You are the player of the match. Well done.
Thank you.
Down a Premier League title. It was, as Jamie said, a really big win for Arsenal. It was an important performance. They've managed to keep players fit. They've managed to rest a few players ahead of the game against Atletico Madrid on Tuesday. What do you think was the most impressive thing about it, Paul?
The way they started. I think always when you come out and it gets down to this stage of the season, you've got to start well. You've got to close down, have shots, and just suffocate the other team and get the fans up and get the fans up. And I thought Lewis-Skelly was the prime example of that. He got tight. He went a couple of balls, and they couldn't get out there after Fulham, and they just started so well. And I know they started well last week and scored after 9 minutes. No disrespect to Fulham. They could go after Fulham. They couldn't go after Newcastle. Newcastle got a lot of better quality players than Fulham. And they sussed that out very quickly, and they thought, you're not going to hurt us, and we're just going to suffocate you here, and we're just going to keep on coming, and they're closing them down. Even if they lost that ball, they'd always get back. And it was just the start, and they've got to start like that again next week, and every game they play from now on.
What kind of opposition did Fulham put up, do you think, Jamie, today?
Look, I don't want to take away from what Arsenal did, but they had a virus that had swept through the changing rooms this week, and they played like that. They didn't have a lot of energy. You know, I felt it was like Iwobi and Sanderberg in midfield give them a real presence. Iwobi's obviously got a bit of a longer term one. When I saw Sanderberg not playing in there, I thought that gives Arsenal a great chance. But you still got to capitalise on it. They'd have read this week about Atletico Madrid and how poor they've been after European games. Arsenal looked the team that were fresh. They looked like the team. Fulham looked like the team that had gone to Atletico Madrid and had a European night. But I thought Arsenal just started well, picked the right team. The right players got into the game very quickly. You know, Eze was obviously exceptional. Saka gave a lovely 45-minute cameo. Hopefully there's no problems. They just felt that was enough. We'd get him off the pitch, save him, because he's obviously going to be so important for these last few games. And what we saw from Gyökeres, certainly in the first 45 minutes, was his best half of football. You know, he got 2 goals, but it wasn't just his 2 goals, it was his hold-up play, because he was up against 2 formidable opponents, Anderson and Calvin Bassey, strong, physical, but he was too much for them. And that's going to give him a lot of confidence as well, because although it's been an up and down season, lots of question marks, the numbers are still pretty good for him. You know, he scored a lot of goals in his debut season, and I can still see him scoring a few more. And I think that's 6 in his last 7 home games, which is also important for the team. You know, when you've got a striker leading the line like that, Paul.
Yeah, 100%. He was the best I've seen him play. Reminded me like of a Haaland today. You know, he went up against Anderson. I said it would be a battle, and he won free kicks. And the prime example for me was the Saka goal, the second goal. What he does there just shows the confidence he was playing with. And I just thought the players trusted him a lot more. They were passing it into him, and he felt more confident. So, as I said before, in his wildest dreams, Arteta couldn't have wished for anything better today.
How much was he helped by the performance of Bukayo Saka as well? Because the conversation around Gyökeres at times has been, well, maybe the goals, the big important goals aren't coming because he's not getting the service that he might want.
Yeah, he's top quality player, Saka. I know he ain't put up the figures, the numbers this season, what people say. He gets doubled up, and I said this before the show, but he's a big game player. He gets on the ball, and there when he isolates Jimenez, you know, he knows what to do, and he's on his weaker foot, and he plays a great pass. You know, I'm a big fan of his. You know, he turns up week in, week out. Probably this season, few injuries. He's robust. And he performs. And for me, get your best players on the pitch week in, week out till now, to the end of the season, and Arsenal won't be far away.
Should we look at the first goal?
Let's look at the first goal. We're talking about the sort of build-up to this one. And
I love it.
And it was a really structured goal in a way.
It was clever, and the simplicity of it. And it just when I saw the setup, you can see. Let's just talk about Fulham's from their point of view. You can see Jimenez. they're probably thinking that Declan Rice is going to lift this ball into this area where you've got Gyökeres and Gabriel, two biggest headers, the best headers of the ball in the team. So Jimenez is the last man. So that would probably be the setup from set pieces. Obviously, you've got Calvin Bassey and other players in this area, and then Bukayo Saka. But the one thing that sort of threw me, so I thought, OK, this is definitely something that Arsenal have worked on, is the position here of Ben White. He comes over to Declan Rice, and it's almost a bit like they produced a brilliant set piece last week, and it was so unusual in its manner, and this one had a similar sort of feel to it. As they play each other a couple of times, I like what he does, Myles Lewis-Skelly, because he's just going to drop off. And this is the detail that set pieces go for. Consider how many games they've had of late. They play it to each other. Declan Rice, he plays a short one, like his hands goes up, and okay, now he plays it here. Now you can see Myles Lewis-Skelly gets himself into a position. They play it again. So because what that does there is it just makes the extra players, Emile Smith-Rowe now is even further away. So Declan Rice can check back and then play this ball into the midfield player, who now is going to open this up where you've still got Jimenez, who's going to play as your left back. Paul made a great point, and I totally get it. Not like sometimes you might say to Anthony Robinson, who had success against Saka in the first 10, 15 minutes, switch. But they don't have time, and sometimes it's probably been thrown by the cleverness of this set piece, if you like. Now the ball gets to play to Myles Lewis-Skelly. He's all checking his shoulder, he knows. He's got one objective, get that ball to this man. Because you can already see he doesn't want any of this. He's thinking to myself, this is the last thing I want. I'm a centre forward. I don't want the cleverest, trickiest player on the pitch facing me up. He does all right to start because he thinks I'll show him onto his left foot. You can see it here. He's uncomfortable. He doesn't want it. Now he gets him onto his left foot there. Now he's thinking he's going to cross it. Now Bukayo's got him. He slips, he falls over. Then the next question is, can you get your delivery right? You can see there's the goal scorer there with Gyökeres. You mentioned it, Paul. It's a great point. He's got that Haaland. He's got a grip of him. He looks like he's the one that's leading this little battle. Bukayo then checks back again. Now, can he put that ball into this area, like this, what they call it, the corridor of uncertainty, if you like? And it's a brilliant right-footed cross because
Homo, the position of maximum opportunity.
Okay, Kel, I like that one. I'll use that next time. But normally with Bukayo, that will be the one criticism I have of him, that he wants to keep cutting back on his left, and it doesn't always help Gyökeres, because now he's made that run. He's got away from his his defender, as you can see. The ball's coming into a brilliant area, and he gets off the back of it, and a really good finish. Now, you mentioned this, Paul, you know, in terms of what Gyökeres does. It is really good forward play.
Yeah, it reminded me of Haaland. You know, it was really good because he comes inside and then they start grabbing each other in a minute. When it gets to Saka, they sort like here, I don't know how to work the machine.
I got you. What do you want?
So here, he's drifted off now. So he can see everything now. And that's what you want. You don't want to be here where you're looking around and you're looking for people if you're behind people. So he's there. So he can see everything now. Then he goes in and then he just waits and waits. Now he gets hold of him. Now he gets hold and now he pulls him and then he's away. So he sort of pulls him around. He goes round the back. It's brilliant play. It's real Haaland. Look, you watch him. He's got his shirt as well there as well. He's showing good strength.
Would you say that Anderson probably makes that mistake? If you can see, I would say that's a really good position he's got on Gyökeres there. He's got his right arm up. He's got a grip of him, but he decides to let that arm go. And like you say, then he can just roll him round the back here, Paul, can't he?
Yeah, and Anderson's a strong lad, so he thinks he's got him and then he just leaves him. It's brilliant centre-forward play. It's a great ball, but we've seen a million of them balls come across the box and no one's in there. You've got to be in there to tap them in. The centre-forward makes the cross in the end, you know, because people put them across the box all day long. If you're not in there, it's not a great ball.